With UXprot 3919, we've added extensive support for dependency checks when deletions are sent by mod inventory update to mod inventory storage. The goal is to protect records that have a dependency inside a folio, for instance, if an item is currently checked out or an instance is linked to a purchase order line. Records that have been protected from being deleted or, what we call them, were skipped from deletion can be tagged with a statistical code in inventory. First, I will talk about retain omitted record and block deletion. When MIO receives an instance update, it will look for existing holdings on the instance and items on the holdings that are not present in the update and then delete them. With an instruction, deletion can be prevented based on a regular expression matched against a specific property. This can be used to preserve holdings or items created from other sources, provided that a regular expression can be written that will identify such records without at the same time matching records of the current data feed. For example, to retain items that have HRIDs starting with non-digit characters, if an instance delete is being sent, one can say at the item level, block the deletion if the field HRID matches a pattern, and here we have wrote a regex that matches a pattern, so it doesn't start with a digit. The same protection can be implemented for upserts and, for instance, for holdings records. So here we are looking at the holdings record and we will retain the omitted record if the HRID field does not match this pattern. Mod inventory update will also avoid deleting items that are still circulating. It will check on a predefined list of item statuses. And the values of this list are awaiting delivery, awaiting pickup, checked out, aged to lost, claimed returned, declared lost, paged, and in transit. Now let's continue to statistical coding. If a record has been deleted at a remote source, for instance an external CBS union catalog, but has been delete protected in FOLIO, the librarians do need an indication on record level to identify these records. We have decided to use the built-in statistical codes for delete and the upsets request because they are existing at all three inventory entities, so the instance, the holdings, and the item. The system librarian has to create one or many statistical code types in inventory settings. The UUIDs of these statistical codes and code types can then be used to specify what statistical code should be added to the record. So in this case, we have one statistical code type, delete protection, and we have 4 different codes that are all assigned to the statistical code type. First is to identify records that have not been deleted because of circulation dependency, acquisition dependency, because there is a folio item that is not in CBS, or a folio holdings that is not in CBS. Now we can take a look at a practical example. So here we have an inventory record set with our processing statement. And if we look at the holdings record and items, we can see that we have an array of holdings records. We have one holdings record with one item. We have a second holdings record, also with just one item. And we have a third holdings record that also has just one item. That's all. And when we take a look at FOLIO, we can see that we have 4 holdings records. So one is a local FOLIO holdings that is not inside of this JSON that we are going to post, and it does not have an item. And we have our holdings with one item. We have the other holdings with one item, and we have the third holdings, but it has 2 items. One that is also in the JSON included, and one that is just a local FOLIO item. If we take a look at the FOLIO item, we can identify it here because it has an item HRID starting not with a digit but with the letter I. And same for the local FOLIO holdings record. This is starting with the letter H. And in comparison, we can look at one that is included in the JSON that I took from our K10 Plus suiting catalog, and that starts with a digit. Because the put request will contain our processing statement where we say that we want to retain omitted records, in this case on the holdings level and also on the item level, the expectation is that after we send the request, this holdings record and the second item record here will still be in folio and not be deleted. So in order for you to see that the request was actually made, we can add something to the title. So let's say test. So the request has been successful. We have our old title without test. If we now open the record again, you can see test has been added to the record. You can see date updated is matching the current time. And we have our folio holdings still in the system, and we have the folio items still in the system. Moving on to delete requests. So when we send a delete, we will send the instance HRID, and that will try to send a cascading delete. So it will delete all instance relationships, all items, all holdings, and then at the end, it will try to delete the instance. But we have defined a constraint. So for instance, if there is a holdings record that has an HRID that don't start with a digit, it will block the deletion. Same with item records. And it will also check for something that we've defined here, any of the item statuses that are hard-coded and defined. And it will also check for a PO line reference. So if the instance or is connected to a purchase order line, it will also block the deletion. And we can take a look. The instance is connected to a purchase order line. This holdings here, that is not a folio holdings, but it is connected to the same purchase order line. And one of the items is being checked out. So this item is checked out. So when I now send the delete, I would expect that this holdings and this item record are being deleted because it is not a folio holdings, it is available, and it does not have any connection to a purchase order line. But I would also expect this item to be deleted because it is available. I would not expect to be deleted. This item is not deleted because it is a local folio item, and because this item is not being deleted, then this holdings can't be deleted. I would also not expect this holdings to be deleted because it is a local folio holdings, and I would not expect this item and holdings to be deleted because the item has this item status of checked out. So we can now send the delete. We see request has been successfully performed. And now we can take a look at the metrics. So we see on the instance level, there hasn't been any completed delete, but the instance has been skipped delete. So 1 and 0 completed. The same on the holdings level. We can see one holdings record has been deleted and 3 have been skipped. So that matches the expectations. And on the item level, we can see 2 items have been deleted, 2 that were available, and 2 have been skipped because 1 is a local folio item and 1 is checked out. Now let's take a look at in the folio UI. Wait for the page to reload. So, and we can see here we have the checked out item. We have just one local folio item, the other has been deleted, and we have our folio holdings. And in order to identify such records, we can take a look at the statistical codes. And we can see that there are 4 statistical codes because, this is an example. So every condition has been true. So for instance, if we want to see what instances have been deleted at the remote source but are still here because they have a POL dependency, we can use this statistical code. And you can see all the statistical codes here. And we also have a statistical code in the item that has been checked out. So we can easily identify all items that should have been deleted but are checked out and can't be deleted for that reason. You can also filter for the item statistical code in the item segment of inventory search and sort filter. With Mod Harvester Admin 71, we've added the ability to automatically purge old job logs and failed records based on a defined retention policy. By default, the job is set to run each night at 2 AM in the Central European time zone, and it will then, by default, remove jobs that are more than 3 months old. The period of time for which logs are to be stored can be defined in the app settings. We support the unit days, weeks and months. And you can set a number, so in this case jobs are kept for 7 days and everything older than 7 days is being deleted. Users do not need any new permissions to access this setting, as we have added access to 2 existing permissions. This is Harvester Admin Settings, View Storage Engines, Transformation Pipelines and Transformation Steps. Now also contains and log file deletion threshold, and Harvester Admin Settings, View and Edit Storage Engines, Transformation Pipelines and Transformation Steps now also contains the log file deletion threshold setting. For the Ramsons release, a system admin has to post a configuration entry into mod settings, otherwise an error will occur when first accessing the setting. We are working on a fix for this issue. If you want to know more about the technical details, please visit the Mod Harvester Admin README file on Index Data's GitHub.